Lars is a scrub killer. If you don't lab him, he will tax you every single time you run into him in ranked. A huge part of his game plan is fake stance pressure, and if you don't know what's real and what isn't, the matchup feels overwhelming, especially as a beginner. So in this video, we're breaking down Lars' stance play and showing you how to shut it down, and also show the moments where you really have to guess. It's a 50-50 guessing game for both players. This is in a way also a bit of a season 2 recap of Lars, showcasing the things that could be changed for season 3. And yes, I've made 2 stance videos on Lars in the past, one covering all the stances and the other covering limited entry and all the options from limited entry. I would like to think of this video as a neat summary of those 2 videos so that you don't have to go back and see me ramble and talk nonsense and talk theory on a character that you don't like. This video is going to be a nice little, remix of those 2. And if I miss anything, right, about the stance counterplay or any of the options that either player has that I don't cover, please leave it in the comments for others to see. And let's get on with the video. All right, let's kick this off with the first and the main move with Lars. I want this to be the main lesson that you take from this when you're facing against Lars. The only mix-up that you actually have to respect and you are forced to guess is Den 3. Den 3 is the only mix-up this character has where you are forced to guess. The advantage is completely on the Lars player's favor. Right? You can't step. The common option select for a lot of Lars' stance options is going to be sidestep left. You want to sidestep him, sidewalk him to the left when he goes into anything stance related, right? You want to sidestep him to the left, right? Now what happens when Den 3 is tossed out? You can't do that no more, right? You eat a heat engager, you eat a launcher, right? You eat a poke, that is plus. You eat an armored move. You eat a homing move. And you're able to evade the low. Good for you, right? But this is just as good as ducking. You stop one out of the fucking 6 options that he has, right? So realistically speaking, when Den 3 hits, you have to go for the low parry or just stand up and take the mix-up. Right? I believe certain people train themselves in this matchup to catch Sen 2, right? I've seen people react to Sen 2. It's kind of crazy, but that's besides the point. Den 3 is the main move that you as the Lars player are looking to throw out. You're trying to understand when to toss this move out here. And you're looking to bait to go into the move, right? You're going to go into dynamic entry and immediately sidestep, right? Because a lot of the times, we're going to get into the counterplay of the move soon, but you're trying to bait for the dynamic entry 3 because it's such a powerful move. The entire counterplay, at least at this range, revolves around stopping this from happening because this is the only time Lars is going to get you to actually guess. Any other mix-up that he tries to do, like down forward 2, right? If he tries to do any of these fake mix-ups, right? This mix-up, this is fake, right? This is fake. Right? On block. Fake. All these moves whiff if you sidestep him to the left. Again, generally in the neutral, if Lars is not using stances, sidestep him to the right. If he's in stance, to the left. Dynamic entry, he's standing up straight, hands out. Silent entry, he's fully crouched on the ground, hand touching the ground, his hand's touching the floor. And limited entry, now his other hand is touching the floor. He's fully crouched again, right? So you need to have that in mind. These are his 3 main stances. So with Den 3, the counterplay for Den 3 is not letting Den 3 happen in the first place. So immediately, what can you do on reaction? Very simply, power crush. That's the number one thing, power crush. Because even if you mistime it, right, you're going to get the full splat of the power crush, boom, and then you get your follow-up, right? For Lars at the very least, you get your follow-up, right? Even if you mistime it just a little bit. Right? He's able to get whatever he can out of that power crush. It's very character dependent as well. Some power crushes have better rewards than this, right? But as you can see, the damage that you get from your health is even. It's fucking even. So yeah, like I said, Den 3 is a crazy move. But Power Crush is the main thing that you do. Do pay attention and have in mind that you are still eating 23 damage, even though you're Power Crushing through it. So do have that in mind. So when you're at low health, you don't really want to go for the Power Crush because this move hits insanely hard. The other way you can counterplay this move is to float him, right? Floating him. You have to be up close, though, is to either float him or interrupt him. Because Dynamic Entry 3 is a very slow move, right? That pretty much relies on you allowing Dynamic Entry's animation to flow completely. And if you let the animation flow, it's on you. Because the move by itself is 22 frames. And the animation for Dynamic Entry adds frames to that. So you want to be using your jab pokes, right? Mid pokes, right? You want to be doing a whole lot of that to stop Lars from giving him enough space to use that move. So that's where a lot of, again, you got to be playing very good aggressive Tekken on Lars. You have to be looking to stop him from engaging upon you, and you have to start pressing your poking buttons, your jabbing buttons, right? You want to play close to him, and you don't want to give him space to go into Dynamic Entry 3. You have to play frame tight because of that reason. You want to stop the threat of Den 3. Den 3 is the only guaranteed mix-up. Any other stance mix-up is not guaranteed, and you can step him, you can interrupt him, and you can punish him. Have that in mind. That is the general rule of thumb, and that is what the main thing I want you to take away from this video. Now that we covered the main problematic move that each and every one of you is going to face, now let's talk about Silent Entry as a whole, because Silent Entry is the stance that kind of culminizes everything for Lars. It's the high risk, high reward stance, because he can't block out of this stance. Every time he goes into Silent Entry, right, he has to commit. He can't cancel out of the stance either. From Dynamic Entry, he can cancel. Sidestep, and he can cancel out of Dynamic Entry. Limited Entry, he just straight up blocks, right? However, Silent Entry has none of that. No defensive options, right? The only thing he can do is backswing, right? And even then, this is not a block, right? And when he backswings, I can't cancel the Dynamic Entry animation. So whenever Lars is doing this, Silent Entry, right? Whenever he does this, he's fully committing to an option or to anything. Whenever he's doing this, he's fully committing. He cannot block. You need to have that in mind because, again, a lot of these stances, their whole counterplay relies on the fact that you are going to down forward one, a defensive move or a poke to interrupt him, right? Or just go full ham on a launcher and counter hit launch him for it, right? Let's actually get into which mix-ups and what to do for every mix-up. So since Den 3 is the only thing that confirms a genuine mix-up that is skewed completely in his favor, there is very little to no options here that you have safe. We are going to talk about what options he has that are so scary if you just block. You just choose to block. Send 1's not all that scary. -6. He resets the neutral. This is a space trap. All right, you need to have that clear. He has enough space here to create the illusion where you think you need to dash up to him to take up your frames or to punish him or whatever. Don't do that. The moment you give up your block here, Arc Blast hits you, right? Blue Bolt hits you, right? This move hits you. I don't know the name of the move. This move hits you, right? So you really don't want to press into this space. You really don't. What you want to do is either, again, just, backdash, sidestep, or just play your basic neutral. Just don't press anything and see what the Lars player chooses to do, because he's seeing what you're trying to do. Just know he is -6. So if you have a move that actually reaches from here, you can toss it out because he's not fast enough to step it. He is -6. He can't step. Stepping is feasible for Lars and for most characters in Tekken at -4, I believe. What happens if we blocked Sentry +4, right? The second fastest mid. He is now +1 in your face, right? Because you're forced crouch and he's standing. It's neutral, but it's technically +1, right? It's still in his favor. After this isn't too scary either. You're both in neutral. Your dick jab beats any option that he tries to go for. So it's technically not the worst thing in the world. However, if he predicts your dick jab, oh, you got launched. You got stepped and launched, right? This is a very common flowchart that I love to run, and most Lars players are going to do this, especially at mid ladder. This is a very, very, very strong flowchart, so you really don't want to go for the dick jab unless you see the Lars player go for something like a G-clef, right? G-clef is a very popular frame trap after Sen 3+4. I'm +1. My jab beats everything that you would want to do from while standing. All right, so that's what happens after Sen 3+4. What happens after Sen 4? Oh, he's +4. Oof. +4, homing high. So ducking beats this option. So ducking beats 2 out of his 6 options. That's powerful. That's very good to know, right? Because that means that ducking is now immediately much better than sidestepping him off of Den 3, right? Because you stop this from being an issue, and you can launch him afterwards. He has high recovery frames after this move, right? Recovery frames after this is very, very slow. He has very slow recovery. What happens after the low? What is going on here? Oh, Lars is -12. That is tragic. This is an insanely powerful low. That on hit is +6. It's 17 frames. It's a counter hit launcher, and it does 23 damage. It's also high evasive or high crushing. It is a fucking fat low. It's basically Jin Scourge on steroids. Oh, but it comes out of his high committal stance. Yeah, off of a +5 mix-up on block. You know, that... yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, in my opinion. I think it's very strong. I think this move should be -15, right? You should be able to launch it, because I don't know. I think it's a little bit too wild. There's too many properties tied to this low, and I have literally no risk in throwing it out if you don't low parry it. And even if you low parry it, I'm taking 40 damage when... You know, it's a fucking powerful low, dude. It's a really strong low. Let's look at the other one. Sen 3, ooh, -13. It's a 14 frame hop kick. It is a hop kick. He's airborne. 13 frame hop kick, so it crushes any dick jab that you throw his way. So dick jab is immediately not an option after Den 3. And he is -13. So 12 frame punish, launch that shit away, right? You get a nice little beefy punish on him and maybe some Oki. Pretty good. All right. So immediately standing is looking like amazing here. So you kind of want to stand silent entry and only really want to duck it if he is spamming this way too much, right? If he is spamming Sen 2 or if he's delaying his timing and you're trying to catch the timing on the Sen 2. Because, again, that is something that Lars players can do. Look at how much you can delay this move. You see, the delay is insane. It's ridiculous in the delay. You start realizing, okay, so my only real threat after Den 3 of an efficient Lars player, Sen 1, Sen 2, Sen 3+4. These are the only moves that are going to be threatening me after that. And stepping beats none of these, right? Only the low. It only really evades the low, right? It makes the low perhaps launch punishable. The ducking seems to be the more favorable, safer option. Stepping is the riskier option, and then standing is the safest option. There is another option. It's called power crushing. Let's see. Ooh, power crush defeats the super fast mid, right? Oh, it defeats the other mid. It defeats the power crush. It defeats the high. Oh, man. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. See, you're still risking you went from, okay, power crush beats all the options except the low, the 50-50, the move that he's most likely going to be tossing out regardless, right, of whether you're conditioned or not, because he has to throw out this Sen 2. This low is way too good not to be used, right? So you're putting your life on the line on a power crush. So if you play lazy defense here, you're fucked. Your options after Den 3 are pretty skewed. Like I said, you have to focus on blocking here. Mainly blocking or going for the low parry. Those are going to be my best options after Den 3. We know +5 is really strong for silent entry. Let's now take away a frame. Make it +4. Let's see what happens. Oh, +4 defeats the fastest option, the fastest and safest and just best option that he has in the neutral. Ooh, that's scary. Wow, that's very steppable at +4. Wow, okay. Let's see the launcher. Ooh, okay. 2 out of 6. It's looking good. Oh, the power crush, right? Oh, my bad. I delayed the low. When you delay the low, he can retract. That's where timing comes into play. We can talk about that later. Timing with Lars is weird. But yeah, instant timing low, completely evaded. Okay, evasion off of while running 1 is really good. It's super good, right? Because it stops a lot of his options. Okay, that is expected to happen. That is an option that he has. However, again, it's a high, so a duck, he absolutely loses immensely after a duck. Send 4, sidewalk left. Oh, it tracked. This move should not track, right? This move should not track, but it tracks. So now all of a sudden, send 4 isn't the actual threat. The actual threat is send 3 +4, right? So on block, here, the best option would most likely be to step. This would be the more sophisticated option. If the Lars player is showcasing signs of adaptation and he decides to do send 3 +4 and he decides to do send 4, then you have to react to which of the 2 options he's doing. If he is using Lars to his fullest potential, of course, he's always going to go for this option. This is a no-brainer. He option selects into this, right? That is what he goes into. Now, after that, silent entry no longer has any safe on block ways to work or for it to be a real mix. Now, down forward 2 is -3. One thing that you go for after this, -3, is the mid, right? Down forward 1. Down forward 1 stops everything that he wants to do here. Let's I show you. Here we go. Send 1. Send 2. Send 3. Send 4. Send 3 +4 gets floated of send 3 +4. That's insane. Send 1 +2. Oh, the power crush beats it. But luckily for you, in this situation, power crush is the only time that it beats down forward 1. It's the only time it beats it. Because out of any other mix-up for silent entry, Lars is going to be +5, right? Off of this, +5. Off of this, +5, right? And off of this, +5. And what happens when he's +5? Power Crush doesn't completely defeat the down forward 1. You are going to take chip, but if you just toss out a simple ass down forward 1 interrupt, you're safe. Is so much better, right, than having to eat a mix or eating the Power Crush in its entirety, right? Is much better than this. So do not allow Lars to go into silent entry off of funky shenanigans, all right? Like, this is not real. This is not real. This is not, oh, sorry, wrong move. This is not real. What is the other silent entry move? He has another one. This is not real, right? None of these things. This is kind of real. Yeah, this one's kind of real. This is a sleeper one. He can go into silent entry off of Den 1, right? However, same rules apply, right? Down forward 1 is still pulling numbers here. That is all. That is all you need to know for silent entry and how to beat it. Now, when it comes to dealing with dynamic entry should be the easiest home run for you to just understand out of all the stances, and it's that none of the dynamic entry mix-ups on block are ever going to be real, and as a matter of fact, are incredibly unsafe. A lot of the dynamic entry stance transitional moves have follow-up. However, we will get to those follow-ups if the Lars player uses them. Chances are they are not going to, because those follow-ups are minus, very minus, and he's going to get punished every time he uses those follow-ups. Whenever he goes into this shit, you have to punish him, right? I can't block that, right? Fastest move, interrupted. Right? Second fastest move, evasive move, interrupted. I can heat burst. That I can do. Heat burst armor, super strong. I can do that. No, I can absolutely do that. Look at that. Boom. Can I hit to the down forward 1? I can't do it with the down forward 1 though, right? You see, none of my options are going to beat these two things on block, right? Showcase the same thing here, right? Down forward 1-1. This is a mid-high string. You have to duck it. You get used to this. This needs to be duckable. You have to be ducking this mid-high. Lars players will always abuse this. There is follow-up for ducking, which is this, right? Oh, you want to duck, but this is minus 13 on block, right? So is this. That is minus 13 on block as well. So have that in mind, right? So down forward 1 literally beats and stops everything that he tries to do for dynamic entry, and it should be the button that you should be spamming every time he tries to go for any of those dynamic entry mix-ups on block. He's gonna spin around like this, right? For down forward 3, he spins around like a ballerina here. For down forward 1, he just does the dynamic entry wave dash, right? He just does that bullshit. Never mind. As well as this is the backswing blow. However, if he fully commits to this, he's getting launched because he's minus 6. Nothing reacts fast enough except the power crush. And even then, he can only do it once, right? After that, if he tries to do it again, he gets fucking blasted. So he is steppable. He is 100% steppable, right? He is. But why would you do that when you are plus a million? Press a button and kill him for it, right? Same thing. He also has a lot of wonky, weird, cheesy stuff. After season 2, they fucked up how the animations work, right? And if you try to step here, right? Look, you see that? Did you catch that? I delay it, boom, it hit you. I don't know how that hit, but it hit. Also, yeah, off of down forward 3, this tracks because of the interaction with this heat engager with down forward 3. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. Right, same thing here. Because of these moves chaining together as of season 2, there's very weird tracking qualities to it on block. I mean, who the fuck would want to step dynamic entry on block? I don't know. I want to meet the psychopath that wants to do that, right? But just, again, have that in mind. Press. Dynamic entry on block, press. The only things that he can do to threaten you, again, are this. Look at this. Look at this fucking... Dude, the bot is just duck sidewalk? That is crazy. This, right? That's fine. The only thing he has available is this. Right? This shit. What else does he have? Oh, and this. That's it. That's the only thing he has to condition you. And he doesn't really want to condition you with this because check this out. Ooh, launchable. Oh, why the fuck would he want to do that? Dynamic entry. You interrupt. Now, if you get hit with any of these, you're going to have to eat the mix. All right, let's talk about what happens if you just eat it. You just bite it, right? He's plus 10. You have to guess, right? He's plus 10. Plus 15. This, if he hits this, you're just eating a heat engager, straight up. Right? The large player is just going either completely into the heat engager. You're cooked. Right? If you eat this, same thing. Heat engager. You're cooked. You're donezo. There's nothing you can do. It's literally you're cooked. If you eat the mythical, bow, plus 11, dude. Nah. There's nothing you can do here. There is no stepping that's gonna save you. You have to guess. You have to absolutely guess. Luckily for you, though, the options that you have to guess in between are dynamic entry 3. So it's a 22 frame mid. You can react to it. Right, and you can see it coming. I believe you can try and go for the armor here. I am not sure. Let's find out. Let's find out together. Let's say that I do hit you. Right? Let's say that you do eat my mix. Sorry. Eat my mix. Ooh, Power Crush beats Den 3. Look at this. Dude, if you don't want to eat the fucking Den 3 mix, Power Crush has you. However, there's a huge problem with that. There's a gigantic problem with that. And that problem is that dynamic entry has really good lows. That's it. It has really good lows, right? This low goes into mix. This low is a counter hit, right? Confirms his heat engager. Look at that damage. Huge damage. This low deserves its own section. It's a stupid low. However, he is plus 4. So the same rules that I stated for while running 1, the defensive play for while running 1, apply to this low, right? But that's besides the point. I'll just leave this here as a little Easter egg so that you get the full information for watching the full video uncut. Good for you. Dynamic entry, you don't really want to power crush it. You want to react to the lows. You want to react to the lows, you want to react to the mid, because every single move out of dynamic entry is 22 frames. 22 frames, right? 23 frames. Oh, that's 12 frames, but that's a high. You can duck that. So if you duck expecting one of these 2 lows, you also beat the high. And you also beat these highs as well. Quite literally, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 6 options, right? So ducking in dynamic entry is really good. It's really good. Why? Because the mid he can threaten you with is seeable as fuck. It's a gigantic 22 frame mid. You can see the mid coming, the plus unblocked mid coming. So you can stand up quickly. You have to get a guaranteed mix up with silent entry. Bullshit. But you can see the mid coming. It's very slow and it's power crushable. Fuzzy ducking is a very good option, right? Fuzzy ducking or just reacting to your opponent, what they're doing is really good because everything they're doing is reactable. The only thing that isn't reactable are going to be the highs, but again, if you just micro duck and hold that duck, if you fuzzy, you're going to beat it. Then too, his electric wind god fist, Lars's god fist, because there's no electricity and there's no wind in it. It's just a fucking uppercut, right? It's a gut punch. This gut punch doesn't really do anything on normal hit. On normal hit, it's the standard mid poke. It's a very standard, boring mid poke. He can like do this, right? So he's +9 into this mix-up. So you have to guess between either, oh, am I going to stomp you? Or, oh, am I going to throw you? But the throw break is 1+2. So you can just eat the throw break because the mid, you can just block it. And it's going to be -9, so you're fine. It's looking like you kind of just want to react to whatever he does in dynamic entry. It's reactable. So you want to lab the animations for dynamic entry. And the best way to counterplay him is to fuzzy dynamic entry on hit. All right? If he tosses out dynamic entry on block and he gets away with it, it is your fault. You deserve it. You deserve it because he is -1 billion and you can just down forward 1 him and his offense stops dead in its fucking tracks. So it's your fault. It's on you. Oh, before I forget, on hit, there's also another thing that he can do off of dynamic entry on hit. And this is grabbing. He has a grab. He has a 12 frame grab. He has 7 options from dynamic entry. Let me revise that. He has 7 options. But yeah, on hit, dynamic entry, you have to eat it. On block, interrupt that shit with down forward 1. Now we're going to get into his more complicated stance. And it's the more complicated stance because this stance actually allows Lars the most liberty. I feel like they named limited entry as a joke. We will now name the options that he has through limited entry. He can Len 1. Stop hitting me, Lars. Why did you hit me? Len 2. So immediately 2 stance options. That's all he has. However, he can while standing 2. He can while standing 1. He can while standing 3. He can while standing 4. He can down 1+2. Right? He can a full crouch, down forward 2. And he can up forward 4. He can also up forward 3. Right? Yeah. Are you catching on now? He can instantly cancel limited entry into any of that. He can block. Okay? And grab. He can grab out of limited entry. Now the options are terrifying. Right? Now he can do all of that from a stance. And it's a very common stance that he can go into in multiple ways, and he gets the same amount of plus frames. And there is, luckily for you, there is very defined counterplay on block. This stance on block does not have a real mix-up. Thank the Lord. Thank God Almighty. There is no real mix-up for this stance on block, right? -6, -11, launchable right there, -12. So he has a lot of ways to go into limited entry. However, on block, it is not a real mix, right? None of these are real mixes. If he tries to overextend, there is an option select for all of these. And that lovely option select is called down forward 1. Let's see what happens if I try to down forward 1 off of -6. Oh, if I try to go for a low off of -6. Oh, my fastest low got fucking countered. Damn. Okay, let's see what happens if I try to go for my fastest mid. Oh, it got tagged. Can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, I know. Let's go for one of my big moves. Let's see my big moves work. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. This has been here since season 1, and they said that they addressed it and they made it less they made the hurt box bigger, but it's still evading the mid. It's still an AOP. So this is intended. This is an intended interaction from the character when he's using 2-1, right? Because if we try to do the same thing off of while standing 2, I get tagged. He's way too slow to get the move off, and he gets interrupted. If I attempt doing it off of the low, too slow, right? He is too slow in all occasions. He is way too slow. You can't get the move off in time. However, off of 2-1, it hits. You have the imminent threat of like you're using down forward 1 after limited entry. Fuck you. However, if you delay it right here, I can actually get the orbital off. I've caught people with that orbital off of wall standing 2-3. I've done it. And the orbital is such a slow move that it changes the timing at which your move is going to hit. So people tend to get shocked by the timing shift, so they duck or press a button reactively and still get hit with the orbital. The orbital is such a strong option off of Len, and there's also the fact that it's -8, right? You can't punish me. On block, there is a fake mix-up for this move. It's not real, it's fake. It's very fake. Luckily for you, limited entry has the same rules as all his other stances. Sidewalk left absolutely cooks everything he does. Sidewalk left absolutely cooks everything. And oh, no it doesn't. Wall standing 2 is now a problem. Wall standing 2 is now a problem, and guess what? I realign. Ridiculously so. There's a very strong realignment with it. And I get plus frames too, so... Look at that realignment. Isn't that beautiful? Super linear stance gets completely realigned. That is fucking funny. That sucks. Does anything else realign? Luckily for you, no. It doesn't. So if you want to beat the orbital and you want to punish the orbital, if you try doing that punish, and if you kind of build a habit of doing that for the Lars player can just completely ignore what you're doing, go for a high crushing mid like this, and this mid tracks to both sides. Because he's literally swiping around him. He's doing the same animation as back 1. But instead of doing the regular down forward 1, you have to go for a low hitting mid. So if I overcommit, boom, that catches me. Right? Boom, that catches me. I'm airborne. Right? You see? Go for a low hitting mid, I can't do it. And I get floated off of that one. You see? You have to go for low hitting mids that will float him or poke him. No slower than 15, 14, 13 frames. Off of limited entry, you can power crush. It is going to beat this, and it's going to beat all the mids and highs that I'm going to throw. However, what it doesn't beat is the low, right? However, this low isn't nearly as bad as the silent entry low. It's nowhere near as bad. You're not going to get launched. So power crush is actually a very real good counterplay for limited entry because it stops 2 of his options, right? And you're taking the same amount of damage and the same mix-up, so it's fine. It's really fine. So limited entry, best counters are Power Crush or 15-frame low-hitting mids, right? Or launchers. That is what you want to do. The limited entry mix-up changes. It's very scary on hit. However, much like Den 3, there's only one, scratch that, there's 2 limited entry mix-ups that you have to respect on hit. And that is 2-1 and while standing 2-3. You have to respect these. He's +6. You cannot step him. You cannot do anything because everything he does is faster than yours. Or go for a risk on, you have to guess here, right? That was the mid. See, yeah, it does. It comes out on time, so you can power crush. But again, you're still running a little bit of a gamble, right? But in this case, the gamble is kind of worth it. It really is worth it, right? See, because the launcher doesn't come out in time. I don't have a jet kick like fucking Ram, right? So the only thing I have that does beat it is while standing 4. This. But, I mean, who cares, right? I mean, he's +5 in your face, but you barely take any damage. You're not getting launched. However, on hit, it also has the lows. And the lows, all of them are +3. What does that mean for limited entry? Now, when it comes to +3, what does that mean for interrupting? Right, see, it beats the standing options, right? If +15 frame moves, not enough. Not enough. Oh, it trades with down forward 1. Hop kick completely beats the low. Okay, let's see the mid. Oh, the mid launches hop kick. Ooh, that's bad. So immediately you actually don't want a hop kick. On +3, you don't want a hop kick limited entry. You're getting launched. You're getting sent flying. You don't want to deal with, you really don't want a hop kick. And down forward 1 trades with both options. So down forward 1 is still very real. Let's see what happens when it's +3 and full and forced to crouch. Oh, forced to crouch. Dick jab completely halts everything that you would want to do. Right? And I can't dick jab because the action of dick jabbing off of unlimited entry only prolongs the stance, so I don't have a 10 frame move, right? So I have to while standing for you. So I don't really have a mix here. I just have a poke. The mix is a poke, right? So, basically, off of these lows, +3 is enough to poke you, but not enough to blow you up if you go for down forward 1. Or if you go for any of these other options, down forward 1, or maybe a dick jab, right? These options get beat because +3 is not enough for while standing Lars. He can only get while standing 4. Now, what happens now if you step? Sidewalk to the left. The only way to beat these lows consistently, right, is with dick jab, down forward 1, or, again, power crush. Now, limited entry also has, before I finish, let's add this part, tower kick. Tower kick is important to understand. And tower kick is +4. +4 limited entry. High. Very linear. Right? So dick jab beats all the options here, right? But it loses the fucking orbital, right? Because orbital is fucking godlike. See what happens. Bonk. +4 kind of suffers from the same thing as +3. Now, dick jab is a really bad option because it doesn't stop while standing 2. Right? It doesn't halt it completely. It still guarantees tracking. It's just not good. No bueno. No bueno at all. And also add to the fact that on block, the only time that you're ever going to sidestep, right? Limited entry, and sidestep becomes an option that beats everything that you do except one move, right? Is going to be off of 2-1, right? It beats everything except while standing 2, and off of 2-3, right? However, 2-3, you can just duck it. It is a mid-high, so if you study the string, you can just duck it very easily and launch Lars for it. Yeah, that's what I got for limited entry. If you got more options in the comment section, please add them, please. Things that you can do, or just advice or tips in the comment section for dealing with limited entry or dynamic entry or silent entry, put it in the comments below, because Fuck me, dude. Alright, now we have the final section, which would be heat. All heat does is it makes his stances even scarier. The main changes for Lars is mainly properties and frame data. That is all that really changes for Lars. Every time he's plus here. Now the 50-50 is really an unseeable safe on block launcher, right? And a hell sweep. Dynamic entry doesn't really affect. Dynamic entry doesn't affect it that much because quite literally, this is very funny. Den 3 on hit is the same on block. It's +5. That's fucking hilarious. If you engage heat, he only gets follow-up, so he's never really gonna burn your heat bar. To do this, they're never gonna burn their heat bar for this move. This becomes a launcher, right? But he already had this, so this threat was always there. It's just that now the high launcher is +5 on block. Right? That's the only difference there. And then this does that. And this is a big deal. This is a hell sweep now. And Lars has the very infamous triple hell sweep mix-up. Hell sweep +11. Hell sweep. Hell sweep. Defense stays the same for dynamic entry, doesn't really change. For limited entry, it's scarier now. With silent entry, does it change anything? Sen 1 is a launcher now. Like, it's a full-on, full-screen launcher. You don't have to wall splat with it, you can just launch him. So those are the only real big changes that it happens when he's in stance. He also has this. Right? Right, you know this move, this really cool move that guarantees plus on block mix? +5, silent entry. On hit, +10. It's really guaranteed now. Now you're really fucked. Yeah, that's funny. Sidestep 2, +6. +6, yes. Very plus, super plus, right? Super plus in your face. You cannot step me here. Don't even think of stepping. Okay, so I completely forgot about Heat Smash. Because let's look at the range of this move. This fucking massive fucking move. He's airborne, right? Yeah, it's a stupid move, right? He's +12 in dynamic entry. What does that mean? You can't do anything here. You can't jab. You can't dick jab. Nothing. Nothing. Because +12 means that Den 3 is now 10 frames. So you kind of just have to eat that, right? The counterplay still stays the same. You kind of want to duck the majority of the times or just react to the Den 3 as soon as you see it happen. But yeah, if he heat smashes you and you block it, you just have to eat it, bro. You can try to bait it by, I believe, going to a dash sidestep block. You can try and do that to do it, to try and beat the move in the neutral, but that is extremely hard to do. That is very hard to do and very risky because this heat smash is gigantic. It's massive, right? And once you step it, you got to be careful, right? Because now you step it, you can't really punish. And he goes into, look at how far he is from you. Look how far he is from you. Super powerful, and it's a tool that a Lars player should be using whenever he's in heat. And it's also a very powerful stance transition for him that guarantees mix, where you literally don't have much of a safe option. Again, you just have to rely on the dynamic entry counter, which is mainly try to look for the mid, and if he doesn't toss out the mid, just duck. Straight up, just duck. You're better off eating Den 2. Alright, so that about covers Lars. At this point, you should have a much better idea on how to deal with his stance pressure with all the information that I just dumped on you. I gave you the frameworks. Now it's up to you to go into the lab and see what your character can do against him, because there's a lot of character-specific matchup situations where a lot of the stance pressure with Lars doesn't necessarily work. I don't have the knowledge on all the characters in the game. That is why I didn't cover it. Thank you very much. So if I missed anything, drop it in the comments, or if there's anything to add to this video, please drop it in the comments. It will help immensely to the people that are watching this video for guidance. The comment section will help them out greatly. If you're a Lars player watching this, now you know what people are supposed to do against you, and now you know what to do against them. If you guys think I'm actually saying things that are helping you out, I'll keep making videos like this. If you guys don't like it, I'll move on to the next thing. So anyways, see ya.